Boy, do I love my coffee first thing in the morning. Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy CowboyJobu. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. And thank you for joining in to this morning's edition of Don't Sleep on the Dallas Cowboys, because you literally cannot sleep on the Dallas Cowboys because, quite frankly, things happen late at night, middle of the night, first thing in the morning. So you always want to be a well-informed Dallas Cowboy fan. And let's go ahead and get our light on. So we are now open for business. And for Kumar, my special Atlanta Falcons fan, let me get a little more coffee. Guys, we are 88 days, 8 hours, 11 minutes away from kickoff against the Carolina Panthers for our season opener. Clock is ticking. Time is flying by, guys. And here we are at day number 2 of minicamp. We've got today and we've got tomorrow. And then we've got the 5 weeks where we have to hold our breaths and pray that nobody gets in trouble before they head off to Oxnard for training camp. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic about where our team is right now. And, the team is playing things a little bit different this year. One of the things that you have to look back on our team is the beginning of last season, we did not get an impact from any of our rookies. The year before, we had a hell of an impact because we had Zeke Elliott come on the scenes. When everybody thought the season was over, Dak Prescott came on the scene. Anthony Brown played well. Collins played well. You had guys that were rookies that were playing significant roles on the team that made that team better. 2017, not so much. Our rookies were injured throughout most of training camp. Some of the guys didn't get to work out at all, really. You looked at Awuzie, hamstring. You looked at Switzer, hamstring. Woods was dealing with some hamstring issues. So Lewis was the only guy that really got on the field. Taco just wasn't quite ready and didn't play much until really the end of the season. So we didn't get that bang for the buck to start the season, that influx of talent and young dudes that were really helping to take the team to another level. And it showed throughout the season because, just kind of not there. So this year, we've got different training staff. We are doing things a little bit differently. We had rookie orientation instead of rookie minicamp. They've been trying to bring the guys along slow instead of going 0 to 100 where you're getting guys that are getting hurt. They're playing Sean Lee with kid gloves. He's finally on the field now, 7-on-7, but still kind of holding him out, realizing you know what you're doing. We need you healthy for the season. We don't need you out here in June. And I think actually that's a good thing because it's better to get the book work in, get the movement and stuff in, than it is to go out physically and then get damaged goods. Because once you get a hamstring, it takes a long time to get it together because you can be close on a hamstring and go out there and pull it again and start back over. And that's what happened with the Awuzie last year. We kept trying to get him out there before that hamstring was really healed, and he pulled some more. And then it set him back for another 3 or 4 weeks. So I'm liking what they're doing. If nothing else, I hope they have ballet bars and they are stretching the hell out of those hamstrings because I don't want to hear about hamstring pulls. We had more hamstring pulls on the Dallas Cowboys than I think any other team. Now, we've got Zach Martin, who feels good enough about the contract that was supposedly signed 2 days ago by Ian Rappaport. Feeling good enough about the contract that he's there at practice. And you can see the gleam in his eye and how good he feels and so on about that contract. It's not signed yet, and it may be because they're bringing in more Brinks trucks with all the cash to dump on it. But it should be signed sometime soon. But they're looking at him to take on a leadership role. They're looking at him being a lifetime Dallas Cowboy player because he's now got Jason Witten's locker. And that's a big role to fill. That's some big shoes to fill. But you look at him, he's been a guy who hasn't missed a game, 4 Pro Bowls in 4 seasons, one of the best in his position in the NFL. I'm happy for him. You couldn't ask for more. And the team is being challenged and put in different positions than they have been. as much as some people have made fun of Sanjay Lau as our coach, saying, "Oh, he's never had any great wide receivers and stuff," the field with the wide receivers is really good because Cole Beasley, who's now been playing outside as opposed to the slot, some is saying that now I'm being taught how to run routes instead of just instinctively running them, doing my own thing. And that's kind of a big thing when you think about it, because it's not about your thing. Because here's the problem: if you run your thing and he runs his and I run mine, my thing's going to be different than your thing and so on. There's no consistency. And in football, it's not like high school where timing routes aren't as important, where it's just throwing to a guy, you're watching the whole time. You got the quarterback who is looking off maybe 1, 2, 3 reads and having to know that you're going to be at that spot, because now I'm going to go boom right there without even really looking. And so consistency is key. Now, right now, the offense is lagging behind in OTAs. The defense is looking better, but that's always the case. Usually the defense, because it is a little simpler, is usually ahead of the offense. So I'm not worried about that situation. We've got a lot of new moving parts as far as wide receivers and stuff that are now being taught something different than what they have been before. Now, I read an article. I can't remember who wrote it, and I apologize on this. But sometimes you read things and you just go, that's so stupid. You are so off on that. Because they were talking about Zach Martin getting his deal. They said that the Dallas Cowboys, percentage-wise, are spending more money than any other team in the NFL on their offensive line. They're spending too much money on the offensive line. They're spending 26% of their cap on their offensive line. The only other team that's anywhere close is the Atlanta Falcons, who are spending 25.1% of their cap on their offensive line. Okay. And the problem for the Dallas Cowboys is going to be that they spend the least on their defensive backfield. Now, if you listen to that, you say, well, damn, that's the problem. They're not spending money on the defense. They're throwing all the money on the offensive line. Okay. Let's stop right there. This is one of those things I told you about when you go to college, you take statistics. You can prove two different things with the same set of data between which method you use, between mean, mode, modulation, and average, okay? They're all different ways of calculating the same data that can give you two totally different results. But here's the thing. The problem with saying percentage-wise the Cowboys are spending more money on offensive line than the Atlanta Falcons is, Atlanta Falcons are spending, $30 million of their cap on quarterback, which is eating up a lot of that percentage. You know what we're spending on quarterback, right? Dak Prescott, $650,000, a 30th of what the Atlanta Falcons are. So that skews that number. So the Atlanta Falcons actually spend more money on their offensive line than the Dallas Cowboys. That's where the numbers get skewed because of the differences. And that's where, I could go through and add up exactly what the contracts are if you'd want me to and do that, but I don't have the time this morning. But the biggest thing they're saying is, well, the Cowboys aren't spending enough on the defensive backfield, and that's why they need to get Earl Thomas. Well, okay, I believe that Earl Thomas would be a big bonus for experience because he knows the system, and he's an incredible player, okay? So we all know where I am with Earl Thomas. But their argument on this was that they just need to spend more cash on the defensive backfield. Think about 2016. 2016, we spent a whole lot more than 4% of our cap room on our defensive backfield. $25.7 million we spent on our defensive backfield for J.J. Wilcox, Barry Church, Morris Claiborne, and Brandon Carr. In case they hadn't noticed, our defense actually got better. We went from 15th in total defense to 8th in total defense. Still didn't get the turnovers that we'd like, but the defense improved with us spending less money. Because who do you feel better with? You feel better with Morris Claiborne out there for 7 games, paying him a big salary? Or you feel better about Awuzie? Do you feel better about Brandon Carr? Or you feel better about Lewis? Do you feel better about Xavier Woods or J.J. Wilcox or Barry Church? Now, the Jeff Heath one, we'll discuss that one. But you understand my point. And because these guys are young, it's not like Brandon Carr, who signed a $55 million 5-year contract. You're dealing with rookies that weren't first-round draft picks, like Morris Claiborne. So the number's going to be skewed. But what it is it's a young defensive backfield. That you got to say, by the end of the season, Lewis was really good. You got to say that Awuzie was really good. You got to say that Xavier Woods started coming on. I will take that defensive backfield against the guys we had in 2016 any day. I'll take a ham sandwich over Morris Claiborne. Seriously. J.J. Wilcox went to Pittsburgh and he's gone elsewhere now. Brandon Carr played pretty well with Baltimore, and but nothing really to write home about. He wasn't exactly, Revis Island. So sometimes the stuff that you read, you got to really look at it and analyze it instead of saying the Cowboys spend too much on their offensive line and not enough on the defensive backfield. You've got to look at the situation and see where it is. When you look at that group of guys, and again, I do agree that Earl Thomas would make a difference on that, to mentor those guys, to bring experience to those guys, to be able to make the calls because he knows better than what those young guys know with what's going on. He knows the NFL. He is that wily veteran that can make sure that everybody else is in the right position, because in the end, that's part of the biggest things with defense is that everybody knows where they're supposed to go. You get one guy out of position in the NFL, and it's 7 points. But his reasoning behind it's because they don't spend enough cash. That's not it. The reasoning being is they could use the experience. So, that being said, guys, I got stuff I got to go ahead and do. If there's anything with the Dallas Cowboys, I will be here to bring it to you guys. And of course, for Metadata or Metabeta or Mo Better TV, I will make sure to bring you more senseless videos just to tick you off. I'm Mark Holmes. This is CowboyJobu, and I hope you guys have a great, great day. And I will see you guys soon.
Woo! Dude, this don't make me cry.
What? He doesn't eat spicy food. I do not eat spicy food.
But how's the taste, though?
That's bomb. It's good.
It's good chicken. Texture, man.
But you still eat them, huh? Even though they're that hot.
It's the pain from the spiciness and the love from the...
They're good. They're really good. I need a beer, though.
I got some over here in the cooler, my man.
I'm not trying it because I've seen them free fries.
Oh, good. Dang it.
I need that video, Mark.
Oh, yeah, grab my man a beer out of here.
Can I get a beer?
Yeah, this should be some beer.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, go.
I'll take it.
Wait. Oh, there you go. You lucked out. One last beer. Oh.
I mean,
You can handle it. They're hot.
yeah.
All right, man. Thanks. All right, no problem. Damn.
I gotta open it with something. God damn it.
Here, let me. There we go. Oh, that's it.